Hey, good morning, guys. It's Donald and Mary.
Mary.
We're here to bring you a morning weather, water, and trail chatter report. And so Mary's going to start with the weather and water, and then we have some road closures or something,
Got some
man.
other stuff going on.
Okay, she's got a bunch of things going on here. I haven't checked it out, but I have a bunch of rescues and things going on all around the world, man, with hikers. All right, take it away, Mary.
Thank you, Donald. Good morning, everybody. Right now in Blairsville, it is 63 degrees and cloudy. We're looking at a high of 69 today with rain showers early, becoming a steady light rain for the afternoon. Heavy and torrential downpours at times. The winds will be 5 to 10 miles per hour, and there's a 70% chance of rain. Tonight, 62 degrees. Rain is likely. Again, the heavy and torrential downpours at times. Winds will be light and variable, and there's an 80% chance of rain. Up on Blood Mountain today, the high is going to be 62 degrees, falling to 58 degrees in the afternoon, and there's a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 8 a.m. and then between 8 and 9 a.m. and then likely from 9 a.m. on through the afternoon. Mostly cloudy. The winds will be 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 25 and a 70% chance of rain. Tonight, 58 degrees with showers and thunderstorms likely before 8 p.m. and then a chance between 8 and 11 p.m. and after going on throughout the night. Cloudy today or tonight, and then a 10 to 15 mile per hour wind with gusts up to 25 and a 70% chance of rain. Let's remember to always be checking for those loose limbs and branches and whatever else might be loose around you as you're setting up your camp. We should be checking for that whether the winds are gusting or not, just to be safe. Water's good out on the trail for the most part. Make sure you're topping off at Hawk Mountain Shelter. You have 6.2 miles as you hike north until you reach Justice Creek, where you will be able to get water. And then, of course, Slaughter Creek before you climb Blood Mountain. It is your last chance for water there. Hogpen Gap is dry, and the hike from Neil Gap to Hogpen Gap is mostly dry. Make sure you carry enough water going out of Neil. Burning Town Gap up in North Carolina as you head north through the Great Smoky Mountains. That is drier than that area there is drier than the beginning of North Carolina when you first get in there. Let's make sure we remember snakes. It's that time of year. Keep an eye out as they make their way across the trail. They like rocks and logs and stumps as you know they're out in the sunshine. Let's remember that copperhead nest up on Cow Rock. Cow Rock is 5 miles north of Neil Gap. Stay off the boulders there. All right, so Great Smoky Mountain National Park ongoing bears. All of the shelters are open at the moment. The campsites that are closed are 23 and 96. Warnings for bears are Charlie's Bunyan. No campsites are closed or there's no campsite warnings for bears. Let's remember leave no trace, proper food storage, and proper disposal of our trash and other items. And this applies wherever you are, whether it's the Smokies or here in Georgia or, across the country in California. It doesn't matter. Leave no trace. If you brought it in, let's remember to bring it out. All right, update on US 441 Newfound Gap Road. It is closed from Sugarlands to Newfound Gap due to the landslide. However, the road is open on the Cherokee, North Carolina side, and you can take that all the way up to Newfound Gap. So there's what's going on there. And now I'm going to turn this over to Donald. We've got some other stuff we're going to be talking about today. Donald?
All right, awesome. Thank you. All right, and so this is what we have going on right now. And so we have a overdue hiker that was found safe. A man hiking the East Coast Trail who was reported overdue was located just before 2 a.m. this morning. An experienced hiker, he had set up camp for several hours in the Shoal Bay Road area. The St. John's Rovers were going to launch a search party at daybreak, but two people on ATVs found the man and took him out of the area to safety. Awesomeness.
Yes, most definitely.
All right, and so we have some trail closures for heat. San Diego County closes 3 hiking trails in August due to extreme heat, guys. So El Capitan Preserve, Hellhole Canyon and Valley Center, Mount Gower and Romana. This is done to protect hikers from extreme heat. The 3 closed parks are expected to reopen September 1st, but heat safety tips apply all year round. Oh, wow, so they're closing for the entire month, dude, huh?
Yeah, extreme heat
Yeah.
because they want everyone to be safe.
Yeah, you gotta stop people, man, because there's just too many people just going out and doing whatever, man. All right, and so rescues. San Diego, a hiker was taken to the hospital Sunday after suffering heat exhaustion on the trail in the Rancho Penasquitos neighborhood. Penasquitos neighborhood.
That's how I would say it.
Rancho Penasquitos neighborhood. Anyways, so I might be tearing that word up. I apologize. All right, and so at 2:40 p.m. at 2:40 p.m. Sunday, first responders were sent to Los Penasquitos Canyon on Park Village Road to assist the person, according to the San Diego Fire Rescue Department. The hiker was with 3 others, roughly 1 mile past the waterfall. A helicopter transported the hiker to a nearby Sharp hospital. The person's condition was not disclosed. This comes afar San Diego County's announcement on Friday to temporarily close 3 parks for the month of August to protect hikers from the rising summer temperatures. Rescue in Wyoming. More than 24 volunteers and a helicopter crew mobilized Saturday to rescue an injured hiker in the rugged Platte River wilderness in Carbon County. The helicopter was called in to rescue the hiker who had broken an ankle about 2 miles north of Elkhorn Point. The helicopter was able to locate the hikers along a small game trail near a steep canyon above the North Platte River. The precarious position led responders to call for an additional support from both East and West Division of the Carbon County Search and Rescue. Medical personnel stabilized the injured hiker and carried them down to the trail on a stretcher while navigating loose rock washouts and steep terrain. And I believe they brought a helicopter in on this, and they had to pull him out of a river. There was like this. It's in the middle of the river, like a rock. Yeah, a rock bed is what it was on the river. So they were able to lift the hiker out that way, and so they say that the hikers were completely. They had everything they were supposed to have. They were going for a hike. It was a couple, and just stuff happens. He broke an ankle, so I mean, he's not going to walk out on his ankle. That can happen to anyone. You know, step on a root wrong or a rock, or anything can happen. Yeah, definitely, man. Twist up an ankle. That's what happens. All right, and so that's what we have there. I've got a couple things I wanted to read also, and there was a hiker in the Dolomites, and I guess he took a trail that he was not supposed to take, and one of the reasons was there was rock fall going on and stuff. Well, he got out on the trail. Hold on one second, guys. Let me go ahead and pull this up. All right, so a British hiker, so he's being fined $16,000 for this. So a British hiker is facing more than $16,000 in fines after calling rescue from a dangerous closed route in Italy's Dolomites. In a post up on a Facebook page, Veneto's Regional Search and Rescue Authority said the unnamed hiker, 60-year-old man from the UK, ventured onto the Ferrata Berti, a challenging via ferrata near San Vito di Cadore, on July 31st. At about 3:30 p.m., the hiker called emergency services, telling them that he was trapped in a place by rocks falling from above. The local government had previously closed the route in June following weeks of heavy rockfall. After waiting for the clouds to lift so they can conduct reconnaissance of the area, search and rescue personnel realized that the hiker was located right in the middle of the rockfall zone. A helicopter-borne team finally reached the man at 5:30 p.m., lowering a technician who hooked him up to an aircraft winch for recovering and transporting him to safety. While the man didn't suffer any injuries, he faces a hefty bill. A spokesperson from Venito's Regional Health Service told the Telegraph that it had asked the hiker to pay 14,000 euros, or slightly over 16 grand, to cover the cost of the rescue from the closed trail. The newspaper noted that while the hiker from the European Union might face a fine as little as a few hundred euros, visitors from outside the bloc and lack rescue insurance pay more. Northeastern Italy's rugged Dolomites are in the midst of an unusually deadly summer as a heat wave in the region sends hikers, some unprepared, towards higher altitudes in search of cooler temps. 83 people and counting have died in the range since June 21st, the head of Italy's national search and rescue organization, Maurizio Dell'Antonio, told Milan's El Corriere della Sera, could be tearing this shit up, that the SARS operations have risen by roughly 20% versus the same period last year. Dell'Antonio said that 60% of the rescues that teams conduct are hikers. He also noted that the people are billed for rescue, nearly half never pay. Well, last week's rescue likely won't be this summer's last. Venito's search and rescue personnel are taking steps that they hope they will make it the last on Ferrata Berti. And in an update on August 3rd, the group said that it helped replace the signs that the hiker had bypassed with larger hardened and missed placards in the English, Italian, and German, and blocked both entrances to the route with ropes and steel rebar.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I wanted to read that, man, because there's so much going on in that article. And 83 people from June till now have died over there, man. That's I don't know what to say about that besides it's just out of control. And so they have hiker insurance also, man. I was reading this in some other places that you can actually purchase hiker insurance. And so that might be something that people look into. Even like the people that are trying to through the PCT or whatever trail they're trying to do, or if they're always out in the forest, this might be something good for you, man. The hiker insurance. Clearly, this guy, he created his own issue, and so I believe that he should have to pay.
I do too. I mean, obviously, when it's posted to stay out, and people decide they're going to go on anyways, and to claim ignorance that you didn't see a sign or something, I don't think that cuts it. I think things are posted very clearly in the places that I've seen closed. You know whether it's open or not.
Right. And so I want to go back to this 83 people. I wanted to check if it was like June 2021 just to see, man. But it is literally June 21st of this year that they're talking about. 83 people have died up there, man.
That's a lot of people.
It is, man. It's out of control, dude. Just completely out of control.
When you pass into areas like that that are closed, you're putting rescue and everybody else into danger. And when you have people, you have the sign. Let's just say he did see the sign, okay? And just like people on all these other trails, in these national parks and everything, look at Arizona, people getting extreme heat because they're passing by signs that say closed.
Yeah, right.
You're not only putting the rescuers in danger, you're also putting other people in danger because
Right, yeah.
they say, oh, well, Johnny just did it.
Yeah,
I'm going to
exactly.
go too.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I? So you have everybody out there. Now you've taken one need for rescue and multiplied it how many times? Let's obey the signs they're put there for our safety and the safety of others.
Yes, dude, most definitely, man. I think that people are just and so, they're skipping out on the signs, they're not paying attention to anything, and so, this goes back to another article earlier this year, man, where the waterfalls, the, people that in like a month's time,
right.
people were just going and skipping over this. This is up by Asheville, but there's a waterfall up there, and literally in the parking lot is telling people not to go up there. And in 2 months' time, people went up there and fell off that waterfall, man, because it's just not a place to be playing around, man. There was a lot of stuff going on up there, and they were trying to do some repairs, I think, from Helene and stuff, man. And then we had that the guy that was trying to do the FKT out there in the Sierra Nevadas, I believe, or maybe the Tetons, man. But it was out west in the big country, man. But he was trying to pull a FKT, man, and they had cut off a route to the trails, but he went up it anyways. And so they are actually, was that an Olympic runner? I can't remember. It was some
fully.
dude, man, but they fined him for it, man, and they weren't sure what to do with the fine. And so there was another incident, also an article that I was reading in the same area where someone else just total disregard for the rules and regulations or laws, man, and the signs, and they also are being fined for something. I can't remember what it is, though, man. I don't want to say. But
I believe that anytime you disregard the rules that say close, do not enter, or anything like that, regardless of what it is, you should be fined for it.
Yeah.
Because you're blatantly going, okay, that's closed, but I'm going to go anyways, and then you're calling for help, and the reason it's closed is to keep you safe.
Well, it's like the shelters when they close the shelters for bear activity, and people just go there and stay there anyways, man. And so it's like, dude, why are you doing this type of stuff, man? But people are starting, they're going to find this dude. And I think they should. I really do, man. He put himself in that position. Now you got to pay for it, man. That's the consequence. But definitely there is insurance for rescues for these reasons right here. I don't know if insurance would cover that because he did. I don't know how the insurance works.
That's a very good thing to wonder, if insurance does cover.
I'm gonna actually look some up.
Ignoring of. We did have one rider last year, I can't remember all the details, but they had the Garmin, and they hike a lot, so they said that they purchase different insurances depending on where they're hiking, whether it's in the States or out of the country. And I believe they had Garmin, and it can be really inexpensive or, a lot more expensive depending on where you're going and what kind of coverage you want. They were saying that as long as you push that button on the Garmin, the insurance kicks in. If you call 911
I think you told me about that.
and ask for rescue, you're still paying a bill if there's a bill attached. But if you push that Garmin button, you're covered. And again, blatantly disregarding the rules, telling you to stay out of a closed area, I don't know if it covers that. It seems like that would kind of null and void the contract.
I think so, man, but because you're placing yourself in a risk that you're going into a risky area. It's that's your call, man. So I want to check that out. But we're also we're gonna do a segment, on that because I'm curious to know what's up, and if it helps people out, we'll go ahead and check it out.
That's right.
All right, and so. Let's move on to this missing dude, man. The New Jersey man. He's the New Jersey man that's been missing in the Grand Canyon National Park. His name is Thomas Daniel Gibbs, 35-year-old of Freehold, New Jersey. Was heard last heard from his friends and family approximately 12 p.m. on July 22nd. The National Park Service said in a press release. His friends and family reported him missing on July 28th, so there was a 6-day whatever going. He could be, who knows, man. No one talked to him between that time. So U.S. Forest Service declared a mega fire on July 31st when the Dragon Bravo fire burning along the north rim of the Grand Canyon National Park surpassed 100,000 acres in size. It was considered the largest fire burning in the continental U.S. and one of the top 10 largest recorded in Arizona history. Getting around it would be roughly like driving from New York City to Washington, D.C. Wow.
That's huge.
So, according to the National Park Service, Gibbs, described as a white male standing 6 foot 1 inches tall, is believed to have been in the Grandview Trail and Horseshoe Mesa area on July 22nd. He is further described as having brown hair, brown eyes, and no known tattoos. Park rangers are asking anyone who was in the Grandview Trail around July 22nd and who may have seen Gibbs or has information on his whereabouts to contact the National Park Service Investigative Services branch tip line at 888-653-0009. Tips can be also submitted online at www.nps.gov/ISB or via email at nps_ISB@nps.gov, the press release said. Ground searchers extensively searched the Grandview Trail and its side drainages over the last 2 days. In addition, drones and search dogs from Coconino County Search and Rescue were utilized, along with the high-angle technical rescue efforts near Grandview Point, the park said in a statement. The ongoing Dragon Bravo fire did not hinder search efforts. Responders from Grand Canyon National Park, along with Coconino County Search and Rescue, worked collaboratively to ensure a thorough search of the area despite challenging conditions. No evidence has been found today, and search efforts have been scaled back in recent days due to the lack of further clues or evidence to suggest Mr. Gibbs was in a greater Grandview Trail area, the statement added. Investigations remain ongoing, and if additional clues or evidence are discovered, our search and rescue team will promptly follow up with search efforts in the field, according to the National Park Service. And lightning strike ignited the Dragon Bravo fire on July 4th and prompted a confine and contain strategy, but high wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour on July 12th caused a rapid 500-acre spread overnight. On July 30th, containment dropped to just 4% amid strong winds and dry conditions. Officials said Dragon Fire Bravo in Arizona, coupled with another fire burning in Monroe, Utah, were so hot that they were spurring the formation of fire clouds that can create their own erratic weather systems.
Wow.
Holy shit.
500 acres overnight. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so he's still missing, guys. If anyone sees him or hears from him, or I don't report to those spots that I said, man. So, or that I read off. All right, and so we're gonna end this here, man, with the news. There's more, but we'll talk about it some other time, man. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Definitely yesterday was a slower day. Today we have some longer shuttles going on. Jordan's going to be up in North Carolina. Mary's going to be down in Gainesville area assisting a person. And so I'll be here answering the phones. We did have some calls yesterday. Otherwise than that, man, we're enjoying our slower time. It's kind of nice to relax, man. But anyways, if anyone needs anything at all, give Mary and I a call. We're here for you, man. One love, peace, thanks.